Natasha. I am your creative wellness astrology type counselor, as I like to use the tool of counseling and the tool of astrology or reading your birth chart to get deeper insights as to who you are and the fun mystical things that the birth chart was created when you were born, before all these energies and your personality actually evolved. So I find it to be very fun and insightful, as well as kind of mystical and mysterious. So on to Aries rising. So Aries rising people, your chart is basically where it is supposed to be, as Aries naturally rules the first house of the zodiac. So when we're thinking of the rising sign or the ascendant sign, we are looking at the first house in your personal birth chart. So if you happen to have Aries here, then it is already where it is naturally ruled, because Aries rules the first house, or the I am. It is the first one in the zodiac. So having an Aries rising, you may come off as very assertive, ambitious, passionate, fiery, impatient, maybe irritable or frustrated. You can come off as a little arrogant or kind of headstrong, as you're very confident in like who you are and what you want and when you want it and how you want it to be. And you're pretty fast paced too. So when I've come across some Aries rising people, and you have to look at the rest of your birth chart, you know, because you're kind of like a unique cake, you know. So every human being has like kind of major features, right? Most of us have a torso, 2 legs, 2 arms, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, you know, like these basic features. But you know, we at the same time, we don't look exactly alike, or our limbs are different proportions, or you know, some of us are more stocky and some of us are more slender and long, or some of us has short torsos, some of us have long torsos, you know. So you have to look at your entire birth chart as to kind of get more of the mixture of your personality or your characteristics, or what are your strengths and weaknesses, your kind of natural tendencies, and so on. So Aries people, they can be kind of frustrated or irritable when it comes to other people if they're not picking things up right away, or you have to go over something multiple times. They can be kind of like, ugh, like, come on, like, you know, again, I have to do it again, or I have to teach you something again, even if it was like the second time, not like the 100th time. And you know, it can even be like an Aries rising taught something that's kind of complex to a 5-year-old one time, and not very thorough or precise, because Aries is very fast. And then if the 5-year-old didn't quite get it, and ask again, like, I have to do it again, you know, like kind of impatient in that way. So, you know, just be mindful if that is you, or, you know, what is the kind of scope as to how impulsive and frustrated you are. Is it reasonable for whom or what you are interacting with, you know? So because other people do not respond or, you know, move as quick as you do. And also Aries is about the self. So it's like, I don't want to do it, you know, so I'm nice and I'm fun or whatever, and I'll do it. but that doesn't mean you want to do it. So you kind of are a little bit more frustrated and impatient when it comes to things that it's not something you want to do. It's for someone else, or for like an activity or job that you're not necessarily interested in, or like a kid who is like really, really slow, and it's just very frustrating, possibly for an Aries rising or someone who has a ton of Aries in their chart. So that's why you have to look at your whole birth chart, you know, and where you are in life. You know, are you pretty young? Are you very mature? Did you learn a lot of lessons in life, you know, or so on and so forth? So everyone is unique in that way. But Aries rising people tend to be like a very bold, brave. They'll go at it, whatever they're passionate at. They'll be very headstrong and set on whatever they are set on doing, whether that is like a financial matter, career, a actual person, or whatever it is. And so they just go after their dreams. Yes. So that is basically Aries rising. Aries rising people may also look like very sharp in the face, like a very athletic type body structure, because it represents the first house. So naturally it represents the first house anyways, since your rising sign is in order. So yours is kind of more simpler to describe. So Aries represents the physical body. So you might have more of a athletic structure. Whether, you know, I don't know if you eat or work out in that way, but usually Aries rising people, it's about the physical body. You may have more of an athletic presentation in some way. Your facial structure may look more masculine, because Aries is a masculine sign. And, you know, you'll just come off as very gung-ho, passionate, warrior-like, very assertive and quick to kind of argue your point and what you want, and you know what you want, and you have no ifs or buts or wishy-washiness about it. It's like, you know what you like and you know what you don't like, and that's the way it is. And you may be really stubborn and not very movable with what you are set on doing or what you believe in, because you're just more headstrong. It's like, well, you could be like, I just don't like that person, so I don't know why you're trying to push that idea or this person onto me, when I already told you a million times, like, I just don't really care for the person, even though I don't even know the person at all. It's like, I'm not interested, so don't try and change my mind, you know? So it's a very yes or no energy, because they know, and that's it. Like, don't try and force them. Any fire sign, you can't really push your agenda onto them too much, because they like to be free and be free-spirited in their own way and have their own independence. And Aries is a very independent sign. It's not afraid to be independent, or, you know, it's usually pretty brave to kind of go off and venture on their own thing, even though they have no idea what they're doing. They're willing to kind of explore on their own and make many, many mistakes on their own, and they tend to get over it if it fails and get back up. So that's the positive sign, positive thing about Aries placements. You also need to make sure that you check if you have any duplications or interceptions in your chart, as this can kind of change the chart rulers of each house. So typically, if you have one ruler of each chart, of each house, in Aries, then naturally your 4th house is going to be Cancer, where it's supposed to be. Your 7th house is going to be Libra, where that is usually supposed to be. And your 10th house should be Capricorn, where it naturally is supposed to be, because your order for an Aries rising is in order if you do not have any duplications in your chart. So that may mean that when you grew up, you had a kind of Cancer-like childhood and home. So it was usually pretty nurturing, or, you know, the mother was kind of more of a home, kind of like a home wife, was more at home and nurturing and tended to your needs. And, you know, it was kind of emotional in some degree. It was like, it's a water house in the 4th house where normally it sits. And your 7th house would naturally be ruled by Libra. So you're naturally kind of, you gravitate or click with people who are Libra, because that is what feels to be furthest away from yourself, because your 1st house, which is Aries, if you are an Aries rising, is ruled by the 1st house, or the self. So it means the self. And Libra is the complete opposite. It rules other people. So that's why it rules the 7th house. And so, because even though you have all 12 zodiac energies within your own chart, if you are in Aries rising, what feels further away from you or furthest away from you would be a Libra archetype. So unless you have actual planets, your big 3, or whatever, in Libra or the 7th house, you might not have strong energy planet placements in this department. So you may gravitate towards Libran-like people, because just being with them makes you feel a little bit more balanced, and like they have something that you feel like it's kind of hard to reach or grasp, but it kind of completes you in a way. So a lot of Aries rising people may like Libras, or people who embody a Libra-like archetype, even if that other person is not a Libra at all. So you might gravitate towards people who are very fair, balanced, kind of, they're aesthetically pleasing. Especially Aries likes nice looking bodies, because it rules the body and the head. And Libra is ruled by Venus, and they are about balance and harmony and caring about other people. So it's just like being around Libra type people to you may be like, oh, like you're learning how to take on this energy, because that is kind of furthest away from you. What do you call it? Can't speak. Not literally, but it's just like, you know, when you're around certain people, you know, like your friends, or who you kind of become, or who you surround yourself with, is going to be who you're more likely to kind of take on the way they do things, what they do for hobbies, how they think, well, how mature they are when they, you know, communicate and such. So gravitating towards that opposite of yourself, you may find that you kind of click with people who are kind of Libra-like. Your 10th house, if you have no duplications or anything like that, would technically be Capricorn, which naturally rules the 10th house. So naturally you like to work your way up some kind of corporate ladder, you know, because Capricorn is just where it's supposed to be in the 10th house for you. And you just want to be able to, whatever kind of job you are, you want to somehow get promoted eventually make more money, or get some other kind of title, something like you're slowly pushing up that hierarchy or ladder in some way over time, you know. So that's kind of what you would naturally kind of go for. And that also means, as a Aries rising, your second, your second, sixth, and 10th houses are earth signs if you do not have duplications, once again. So you're more likely to seek out jobs that are kind of more grounded and stable, and you just naturally just work your way kind of up. So yeah, more grounded type work. So yes. Anything else with Aries rising people? Just be mindful of your frustration and irritability levels, as you know, like other people kind of perceive you in a way that you might not see yourself. So that's why I like using the birth chart as a deeper reflective and introspective kind of tool, to kind of start noticing things, you know, that either you like, and you know, you appreciate your strengths, or just kind of make you a little bit more aware of kind of weak points or other people's perspectives of you. If you feel like you know, if you don't like that about yourself, then you can always try and work on it, or like catch it when it does happen. You're like, oh gosh, like, oh, I did it, like, you know, when opposed to in the past, maybe you would have overlooked it, like how you responded to something, or what you said out loud when you didn't really mean it that way, because Aries can say things that they didn't necessarily mean, and it can come off kind of brutal and harsh, you know, because it's very blunt, you know, and not everyone is as accepting of, you know, of how people present themselves. You know, they can be more sensitive. Aries is a very more of a strong, tough sign. So, and things don't bother them as much. They can get over it the fastest out of all the zodiac signs. If something kind of makes them mad, you know, they'll get over it a lot faster than a lot of other signs. So if you're in the workplace, or you're in a relationship, and that other person or a group of people are not, most likely they're not going to be Aries risings or have a ton of Aries in their chart, and if you want to kind of work with them, or make more money, or have like a healthy relationship, or healthier relationship with family members, for instance, then, you know, you have to be a little bit more aware of how you may come off at times, you know, and it's a work in progress, as you know, this is kind of how you naturally are. You are ruled by Mars for your first house. So whatever your sun sign is, you know, that's different. And then your moon sign is also different. Your ascendant sign is how people kind of see you face to face, you know, like on one-on-one. They don't know who in the world you are. This is their first kind of interaction with you. You will come off as an Aries archetype, even if you are like a sensitive Cancer, or another sensitive Scorpio. You know, if you're an Aries rising sign, you know, other people who don't actually know you, they're gonna see this kind of Aries character or archetype from you. Or, you know, if you're having a bad day and you say little things, or you're trying to teach, or you're a manager and trying to manage a brand new employee, and you're a little bit frustrated or irritable, or really quick and fast-paced, they may see you first as an Aries rising, because you're an Aries rising archetype, even though your sun sign is something else, you know. So you have to think about that. And you are ruled by Mars, your first house. So you have to look at, where is Mars in your birth chart? What zodiac sign is it in, and what house is it in? And that will be like the director of who you are, or it will give you some kind of clue as to how you are or how you kind of grow and evolve, or what you kind of, you will be naturally pulled towards, is going to be wherever that Mars placement is for you. You know, that will give you a little bit of clues there as to, you know, what rules that and what's going on with your life as an individual. And then looking at the transits is another thing. That transits are what is happening in the sky right now, and where is it moving in your personal birth chart, you know, to give you a clue as to kind of what the themes are for the next, you know, 2-3 days for the moon sign, or, you know, months, you know, and if it's like a generational planet, years, you know. So that is Aries rising. And if you like to check out my other videos, there's a playlist down below. If you look at my actual Natasha's Creative Wellness channel button thingy, you can look at the playlist and you can check out Aries as just like a generic energy archetype to get more insight as to what this energy, kind of how it plays out, you know. So if you think a little too literally with this astrology stuff, you know, you might miss things, because it's kind of like counseling. It's very blurry, you know, and there's so many different points that we can kind of take this in. And there's no way that like one person out of the 7-8 billion people in the world can really anticipate, like just come up with what in the world is going on with you personally. But you know, after interacting for a while and looking at your birth chart, you know, you can kind of pull out, you know, oh, this is an example of this energy taking place like this, you know. I can see a lot of things like that. Or if you want to work on things, you know, try not to be so impulsive. So you know yourself better than anyone else. You know, if you're a impulsive shopper, or you kind of, you know, you spend on things that you know that's not good for you because you feel like it's going to make you feel better, or you have a big grand scheme or grand plan, but you didn't think it quite through all the way, you know, and you're like, oh crap, you know, that wasn't the smartest idea, you know, but it's too late. So you kind of take a moment to really think about major things first, or also be aware that not everyone wants to hear about yourself or what you're doing, or your girlfriend, boyfriend life is, you know, it's not always about you, because Aries is about the self, you know. Like, be mindful that a lot of people may be really nice and will hear it from time to time, but if you do it too much, or you don't have like boundaries or that kind of emotional intelligence of when is too much or whatnot, they might just kind of slowly gravitate away, you know, just to avoid you. And maybe that will piss you off, you know, because you're an Aries rising. So, and you'll be like, oh, they're like a bee in a negative way, when they're actually not, you know. They're just reflecting something that you are doing, or what you are not thinking about, you know. 'Cause everyone is kind of like a mirror or a reflector, or think of, it's not a direct kind of blunt mirror. Sometimes they're presenting the inverse or the inside out thing that you do not see back to you, and so that is not as obvious. So that's why I kind of look at your 7th house and look at other things in your chart, your Chiron, your Saturn. Those are some 2 big key players, in your North Node, South Node. Those are also like important placements to look into, and I will have videos of those soon in the future. So I hope you enjoyed my video of Aries rising. If you'd like to book a personal birth chart reading, you can go to the link that is in the description box below, www.natashascreativewellness.com. You can also purchase merchandise if you like. You know, I got like journals. This is me back in like 2015. That was a long time ago. Or other journals that are from my paintings, and yoga mats, things like that. You can check out my other YouTube channel. It's under my actual name, Natasha Greenwood, or fit_Tasha Flex. It's my fitness workout channel, as I have found that not every fitness person necessarily cares about astrology. So I have separated it, even though I've posted a little bit of fitness videos on this channel if you care to look. So if you're into that, you can go over there and follow, and over time we'll see what happens with that. If you want to learn technique, or just watch through like example, you know, kind of more of a visual person, and I learned through watching and imitating movement. So technique and mastering movement over the actual weight first for many, many years helped me have a strong foundation. Plus I have a 16-year upbringing in dance, ballet, so that's a very strong movement foundation anyways. So I won't keep this long. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you find anyone who may benefit from this video, or you feel like you can't tell them something that makes you uncomfortable. Send them this video and say like, oh, you know, I thought that maybe you know, this would be insightful for you. So yeah, that's one way to do it. Okay. See you next time. Bye.